and welcome to my channel, Redefining a Woman's Worth, where we are redefining our worth and living life on purpose, for a purpose, and in purpose. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, like, subscribe, share, join the community. Um, it's a fabulous community. I know I haven't been on in a while, guys. So, hey, girl, hey, how you guys doing? I hope you guys been well. And life has been lifing, okay? It has been crazy these last few weeks, and I've just gone through a really, 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 really hard time. I lost my parent, I lost my father like 2.5 weeks ago. Um, and it's been tough. It's been tough. It's my first experience with losing someone close to me, especially a parent. And I just had no idea how grief can impact you. It is really affected me in ways that I had no idea. I never knew that grief could affect you, like affect your mental, like your mind, your memory, like brain fog. I didn't know you would just be so tired and just want to sleep all the time. Like I didn't know you would just be like super like moody, agitated, like or just 1 minute you could be perfectly fine and the next minute you be crying, and small things trigger you that never would have triggered you before. And it is just a tough, weird space that I'm trying to navigate and learn and figure out, what's the best way to get through this and how to get on the other side, and but be present in the midst of it, right? Because this is not something that you can escape. We all going to experience it in some way, and it's something we just got to really go through. And we don't like to go through those hard times and tough times. I know I don't want to go through the times of sorrow and grief and mourning and sadness and hurt and pain. And I would say for me, I think that the grieving is probably been exacerbated because I experienced some wrongful treatment by my sibling in the midst of all this. So it's been kind of like an ongoing thing with my sibling and I really don't have a lot of information as to why, because we've never had like a falling out, a beef. I ain't did nothing to her, and so I'm not really sure what it's about. This is something must be like internal to her, or if something was done on my part, it's something she's never vocalized to me. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't have an issue with my sister. I love my sister. I wish we had a sisterly bond. We don't. Our children don't know each other. She has 3 daughters. I have 3 sons. They're like similar ages, and they literally are like strangers. And it's disheartening. And I have reached out to her before and tried to speak to her about us having a relationship, and she just wasn't receptive. And in the last years, she has done some really hard, hurtful things to me. She's done things that you would never expect someone that you love to do to you, let alone your sister. And me and my sister, we grew up together. It's not like we don't have the same mother, we had the same father, but I've always been there. You know what I mean? From ever since we were little girls, we grew up together. I used to spend summers over there, be around. So we're family, and it's no different as if I would have, grew up in the same home. So it ain't like I'm just like this, illegitimate child, just kind of like they just found out about me and all, nothing like that. We've always been, a family. So I really don't know. I don't want to get too into it because I really want to let it go. But the truth is, I was betrayed. I was really mishandled, mistreated. I was treated with a lot of malice and contempt. And my sister robbed me of some things that I will never get back. Like the ability to lay your parent to rest for their final moments up to their home going, like that's a moment you'll never get back because they're gone. It ain't like he can come back and pass away again, right? And to be robbed of that is something that it's really it's unexplainable, the pain, to be honest. It really is, like, and just the hurt that you feel because it was done with malice in mind. Like my sister very much could have called me. My brothers could have called me. I could have been involved. I could have been there. We have each other's numbers. We could. It wasn't like they couldn't get in touch with me. They didn't know where we were. We live in the same city. like it's not like it's excusable, right? It was with intention because my sister has had an issue with me. And so I want to talk about this. I thought I was going to talk about something different, but I feel Holy Spirit want me to talk about this in this way. When you are anointed, and you may not even know you're anointed, because a lot of times with the anointing and with the call in your life comes with troubles. So it'll come with extreme hardships. It'll come with, extreme, moments of, struggle and financial struggle, relational struggle, rejection, abandonment, right? You will be mistreated, experience injustices. And God allows that because he used it to be like, it's the making of a man or woman, right? And we don't look at it like that. We don't understand it like that, but it's the fire, like the refiner's fire. God allows it. Like with Job, God allowed the enemy to have a level of access to Job, and he used it for his good. It wasn't to punish Job, and it wasn't to miss, to just, do some awful things to Job and just that be, the end all be all. It was with intention. God had always had an intention for him to be glorified. And Job stood the test, right? And he went through some extreme hardships. And some people can relate to losing a child or children. Some people can relate to losing everything. Some people can relate to having extreme sickness. Some people can relate to being accused, by people of things that they didn't do. Some people can relate to maybe having your spouse look at you and be like, curse God and die, or whatever, so you can maybe relate to that directly, or maybe you could just relate in the sense that you just feel like you've gone through extreme challenges, hardship after hardship. It's like Job, like one thing happened, then boom, here come another thing, because when you read the story of Job, it was like one messenger was coming to give him the information about, the raiders coming raiding and taking his cattle, and then soon that one delivered that message. Another one was coming talking about, then the sheep getting, or the servants getting slaughtered and killed. And then when that one was done, then another servant was there telling him about a great windstorm and the house collapsing and killing his children. So like one thing got the other. Like Job never got a chance to really process the first thing, the second thing, because it was thing after thing. And then it was him being stricken in his body, right? So it was thing after thing. And I know people, we say things like when it rains, it pours. And I hate that because I don't want to give life to that, even if it feels like thing after thing. It's like we just have to be mindful of our words. We don't speak certain things. And as I'm, sitting here and I'm thinking, even about the betrayal by my siblings, when I first was in the midst of it, I'm talking about I was angry, y'all, because me and my sister had like a little just like a little back and forth, if you will, like at the hospice with my father, because she just always being her. She just is a person who needs a lot of deliverance and help and healing. Okay. I'm gonna just say it as nice as I can say it. I'm gonna speak things that are not as though they were. But you get my drift. She ain't God's still working on her. Okay. And so we had a back and forth. And so, that was just like nothing though. It wasn't big. It wasn't like a big issue. It was like whatever. But my dad ended up passing away that night. Probably a few hours after I left. And so that was hard because I wish I could have just stayed. I would have stayed those hours and been there in those final moments. But I did get to see him. I did get to tell him I love him. I did get to just love on him. And I just hated seeing him in that state. It was so heartbreaking. But as I was in the midst of, after he passed away, I already knew my sister was about to literally like control everything because she had already been doing that. She had made a point to do that. She had really just kind of taken over everything concerning my dad, even though they did not get along at all. They always was, my dad was always complaining. She wasn't always doing the right things. And it was just, they just always had a tumultuous relationship. But me and my dad, even though our relationship was kind of like, it wasn't consistent, but our relationship was good. Once I really got to a place, I forgave my father and we was cool, so when I would go and spend time with him or see him, we would have fun, we would laugh, we would joke, we would be on the phone for long periods of time. He would tell me about his childhood, his upbringing, things he experienced in his past. I would learn so much because I didn't grow up with him straight, through until adulthood. He was kind of in and out. And so I felt like, wow, I'm able to get to learn things about my father that I didn't know, which helps me to learn more things about myself and even my children. So me and my dad, we had a good relationship. We was cool. Like I knew he loved me. He always told me he loved me. I knew I was his baby girl. I was his youngest daughter. And so I never questioned my dad's love for me anymore. You know, I used to, but I got to that place where I understood my dad was broken. My dad was just a broken, wounded man who did not have the ability to be the father that I needed him to be because he couldn't be the man he needed to be for himself. And once I understood that, and the more my dad talked, the more it was clear, like, dude, you're a little cray cray. Okay. I'm like, Mom, I went home one day and was like, Mom, did you know my dad was crazy? She was like, yeah, I did. He was fine. I said, okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right. So we didn't have an issue, but him and my sister did. And so I don't know if the fact that she knew that me and him was like, we was good, and and that's just what it was, if that was a bothersome thing to her, because I don't know why they were not good. They never, I don't really have memories of them being good. Like they always just kind of had this very broken, dysfunctional, disconnected relationship. Like my sister called my father by his first name. She don't call him dad. Like she just always was like kind of mean. And even before my stepmother passed away, my sister's brother's mother, my sister was like that with my dad, and she sometimes would be like that with my stepmom. So I really don't know what her issue was to per se, because I just wasn't in the home with them, so I don't know what could have went on. And my sister has never to this day vocalized to me any experiences that she had, so I can't speak to it, and I'm not here to say that she didn't experience something, because it's obviously something is wrong. Nobody just be mean and malicious and evil and spiteful and hateful for no reason, right? But as as my father transitioned and I knew it was time for arrangements, I knew my sister was going to kind of take over, right? Because I already know her personality. That's what she's been doing. And she had been making a point to try to keep me from being able to have any access to be involved in my dad's care, even while he was alive. So I didn't expect her to just really include me, like in the way that I would have wanted to be included. But what I didn't expect is for her to totally exonerate me, like totally just cut me out of everything, and I have no involvement. I'm not involved in no way. I didn't get a chance to be involved in my father's homegoing, in his plans and the planning and the arrangements. I knew nothing. I didn't know what was going on, where it was going to be at, when it was going to be. I didn't know the kind of casket, what they put on my father. I'm in the beauty industry. They didn't have me groom my father, cut his hair, cut his beard. They ain't, like, I got involved. They didn't ask me for pictures. They didn't ask me if I had any concessions or if I had anything that I wanted, to be in. Like I was just totally like left out of everything. And that really hurt, y'all. I felt it is the epitome of betrayal. To take a moment like that. This ain't about me, it ain't about her. This is about our father, and we're his children. We're his legacy, his generations. It's like, for you to take that from me because of whatever issue you got going on, really, which is a you problem, because I've done nothing to you. And even if I did something to you, this is our father. This ain't you. This ain't your funeral. This is his. Like, me and my dad's good. Like, so for you to do that to me because you know what hurt me it's just a level of betrayal that I really never experienced before. And oh my God, I was angry. Do you hear me? Like, I was ready to be on some straight trash, if I'm honest. Like, I would knock my sister's head completely off and not care. Like, she's nobody to me. Like, she's somebody in the street. That's how angry I was, because I couldn't believe that you would do that to me. And I was just like, Lord, I know this is my flesh rising up, and I'm okay with that. Like, I was honest. I'm like, I'm cool. Like, I understand it. And I know that it's only going to just give me a little bit of satisfaction for like a few seconds. And the reality of the fact that I'm still not involved is still going to hurt. But I'm okay with that too. If I just get that, if I can just knock her head off, if I can just take her and just stomp her and drag her down the street, then hey, I'll feel maybe a little better. And so I knew that was from the enemy, and I knew that was my flesh, but I wanted to lean into it, but the Lord put some amazing people in my life that held me accountable, continue to give me scripture, continue to just love on me, and assure me that God knows, God sees, and she won't get away with it. She'll have to answer for it, and so on and so forth, and that I had to forgive. Now that's hard. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, like. So even though the Lord had gave me some wonderful, wonderful people in my life, my church family is absolutely like my blood family. Like when I say that there are some people that I attend church with who have become literally my family. They came, they had my back, they they called, they showed up, they supported, they came to the funeral, they gave me the word when I didn't want to hear it, right? They told me the truth in love. And even with all that, I still was sometimes not want to hear it. Okay. I ain't even gonna lie, because the betrayal was like, it cut so deep. And it was so bad that I was not barely even processing or grieving that my father had just passed away days before. I was being consumed by the betrayal. I was being consumed by just the processing and the thoughts and trying to understand and figure out like what would make her do such a thing. And then I even reached out to my brothers in the midst of it and like, hey, like what's going on? Why am I not being involved? Why wasn't I included? Why wasn't I, nobody called me to come to the funeral home? Why nobody like said nothing to me? Like, do you think, then it was like, oh, do you have any concessions? And it's like, at this point, the funeral was in like 2 days. They rushed and had it like a week, less than a week that my father had passed. Like, it was just done crazy. Like, his obituary didn't show up online for people to know. Like, his best friend couldn't come, his good friends from out of state couldn't come because it was too quick. And even like family, some family couldn't come because they live out of state. It was too quick. And it was just so much that it was consuming me. And the more it consumed me, the more angry, right? And the more full of rage and malice, and the more I was just full of wrath and anger. And I just really wanted to be, resort to violence, if I'm honest. And I had to keep reaching out to my community and just continue to ask them to pray for my heart. Like that was like one of my biggest prayers and prayer requests in that at that time was like, please pray for my heart, because I knew it was getting hard. I knew that my heart was filling up with revenge and vengeance and unforgiveness. And clearly when you have unforgiveness in your heart, that will affect your prayers. The Bible talks about how our prayers won't get heard, right? The Bible also says that, we have to forgive because we've been forgiven. If we don't forgive, then God shall not forgive us. Or by the same measure we show mercy is the same measure God will show us mercy. And so I don't know about y'all. Well, I'm sorry, I'm covering up the mic. Y'all, this is new to me. It's my first time having a mic, so I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm trying to figure it out. I'll get it. But it was just a lot. It was more than a notion, and it was something that was unbearable feeling. It felt so heavy, it felt so big, it felt so wrong. And you want to know the truth? I think what hurt the most for me is not necessarily that my sister did what she did, because if I'm honest, I'm used to my sister just being me. I'm used to my sister just being like spiteful and petty and weird. So I was surprised, but I wasn't super shocked, because I just know that she's just that kind of person. And she's not just like that with me. She like that with other people, but she's definitely like that with me. I think what really hurt the most for me was the fact that I felt like, God, why did you allow it? And I get that we have free will, and I get that we all get to make our own choices, but truthfully, I don't get to always exercise my free will like I want, because my free will would be having me doing some things, right? Just like my free will wanted me to punch my sister in the face. But Holy Spirit, the conviction was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, daughter. And I'm like, well, Lord, why do your conviction work for me, but it ain't working for my sister? Not that I think my sister is really saved. She says she is a Christian. I really don't know. That's between her and God. But I was really hurt, because I'm like, God dang, like my father didn't stand up for me against my sister. Like he knew my sister was doing things. There are times my sister did some awful things to me. Like my sister put me out and me and my children out of my father's home. He said we could come move in because I just lost everything. I had just lost my home. We had was homeless, and we had went there. And then when she found out about it, she flipped out and went crazy on my dad and basically put us out on the street the next day with no care, with no conscience. Like my dad ended up like years ago, my dad gave me a key, so me and like my aunt, so we could check on him, because my dad, he struggles with alcoholism. He had got into a deep depression after my stepmother passed away. Then the same year in December that my stepmom passed away, my aunt, his only sister, and they were really close, passed away. So my dad was just really in a dark space, and he was like hurting himself. He was falling and things like that. So, for us to be able to check on him, because at the time I had my own place, I had my car, I had money. I didn't need the key to live there or nothing. It was just hey, in case I need you to come over, you need to come over, or whatever. Well, my sister ended up finds out about him giving me a key and demands that he gets the key back from me, or she was going to cut him off of his money, because she was his power of attorney over his finances. And so every time she wanted him to do what she wanted him to do, she wanted him to do what she wanted, she would threaten him about his money. And he lived like that, tormented for about 6 years, until he just passed away with her doing like that, to him. And so she did a lot of things in these recent months to try to prevent me from being there for my dad, because I was the one going to the hospitals. I was the one trying to get care for him. I was the one trying to make sure he had insurance or food, or just like, because he was just really losing a lot of weight because he wasn't eating, and he wasn't really being tended to like he needed. And so I was trying to do my best, and my sister made very sure to try to interfere with that. So it was like thing upon thing upon thing upon thing. And I kept having to forgive. I kept having to let go. I kept having to, turn the other cheek. I kept having to, pray for her. And so this is like a pattern with her, And so now we get to the culmination of, now you going to rob me of the ability to help plan my father's homegoing. Like, are you serious? So it was horrible. I don't have words. Like, I almost could cry right now. That's just because it's fresh and it just happened a couple weeks ago. And it's like, who is that evil? Like, what kind of evil is in a person to want to do that? Like, it just, I don't even understand it. But the thing that came to my mind during that time, even though I was seeing red, like all I was doing was just crying. And I was crying, yes, because I just lost my father, but I was crying because I'm like, Dad, why didn't you do something about this? You knew she was doing things to me, and he even voiced things to a close friend of his that I know personally, that he didn't like the way my sister was treating me. He wished he would have done something before, and that, she was, doing things to me because she was jealous or whatever the case may be. And it's like, it don't matter why she was doing it, but that you knew that she were doing these things and you allowed her to do it. So she just continued to do it. And now she's continuing to do it even in your death. And I don't have you here to defend me. I don't have you here to protect me. And so now I'm looking at God during this time, and I'm like, well, where are you? You're supposed to be my heavenly Father. You're supposed to be, my protector. And why are you allowing me to be so betrayed and so hurt? Like, I didn't do nothing to her. I did nothing wrong. Like, this is awful. It is God awful, Lord. Why would you allow this? And so it was crazy. And all I could think about was Joseph and how his brothers hated him. His brothers hated him, and they hated him because his father loved him. And again, we don't know all the details of the story of Joseph, right? We do know that the father favored him so much that he got a coat of many colors, which set him apart, which made it obvious, right? And I'm sure there was other things. And then of course he's a dreamer, so now he comes with these big old dreams. And the interpretation of the dreams is basically saying the brothers are going to bow down to him and worship him, and he's going to be exalted above them. So they already hating because he's so loved and adored and favored by the father. Now he's got these dreams, and now they're like, oh, you think we about to bow down to you? Like, we're superior to you? So then the Bible says, and they hated him even more. And they hated him so much, like, hatred opened the door for them to really come up with a plan to first they was really gonna kill him. And then Judah or one of the brothers rose up like, no, we don't need to do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. So let's just put him in this ditch. And because he thought he was gonna be able to come back and get him out the ditch, because he didn't want nothing to happen to his brother. But the other brothers, they were so full of hatred that they were willing to really just totally dispose of their sibling just because they were jealous, because he had affection from his father that they didn't have. And when the brother went back, they put him in the pit and they took his coat and they tore it up and they put blood on it and they went back and they told the dad this lie. They literally devastated their father. Who knows the level of heartache and pain, the tears, the grieving, the crying, the mourning, the suffering that the father went through, thinking his son that he loved all his sons, right? But that his son was just brutally murdered and tore to pieces by an animal. Because that's what jealousy, hatred, anger makes people do. You do the unspeakable, right? The enemy can get access and cause you to do some very horrible and diabolical things. And I know that's what's going on with my sister. And maybe there is some jealousy. And it ain't like I got a part of my, maybe I did have a part of my dad that I don't realize that she didn't have, because I do know my dad really, he just, really loved me. My dad never whipped me a day in his life. Um, and I don't know what kind of conversations was had in their household when I wasn't there. I do know when I would spend the summers there and be there, we would get in trouble or we would all be doing something to get in trouble. But my dad wouldn't do anything to me. He wouldn't he would kind of scold me a little bit, but he would more so direct more of the disciplinary action toward my sister. And I never knew why. I didn't know because she's 7 months older than me. I didn't know it's because she lives in the house and she, is the one who knows better. Like with my sons, if they had company, even though I was her sister, but if somebody came over, even if it was a cousin, and they was all doing something wrong, I'm definitely looking at my sons that live here like, yo, everybody getting a problem. It's a problem with everybody, but they definitely gonna get more because they live here and they really know, right? So I don't know what really happened, but what I do know is for some strange reason or another, like Joseph, my sister has some kind of hatred, jealousy, envy, whatever it is in her heart, and the enemy is using it to exploit her. And I said all that to say there are probably other people who will come across this video and maybe you've experienced betrayal in that way, because you could be betrayed by like a friend, a boyfriend, or just in other ways, and it may not sting so much. It may hurt, but you can bounce back, you can shake it off. But it's different when it's your family, when it's your blood. It's different, especially when it's a sibling. And that kind of thing will do something to your heart. It will make your heart cold and callous because you're so hurt, you're devastated, you're broken, you are totally undone. Like I was undone. Like I can't lie, I was undone. And then at the funeral, we had to watch a slideshow. My children it was not one picture of my sons. And my sons had pictures at my father's house. Of course, they didn't call and ask me for no pictures, but they could have got a picture from my dad's house. She didn't even have one of my children. So two of my sons had to watch a slideshow of their cousins, them, their aunts, their uncles, everybody, a couple of pictures of me, and none of them. Like, I mean, just diabolical. And she didn't speak. She didn't speak to my sons. She didn't speak to me at the funeral. Nothing. Nothing. And by the time the funeral came, I just got to a place where I just said, because I just said, I'm just gonna let her be her. I'm gonna just let her be her. And I just kept praying, like, Lord, help me, help my heart, because I felt the enemy trying to consume me and to get me full of that unforgiveness and bitterness and rage and just hatred towards my sister. And as much as I want to feel like that, honestly, I just know that I cannot. As the one who has the relationship with God and the one who the word, you're held accountable to what you know. And you know the word, you know the truth, right? And so as much as it's unfair feeling, and I still have questions like, Lord, why allow this? Lord, she's done so much to me over the years, and then you allow this. Like, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is like the icing on the cake. I don't even know how we can recover from this honestly, but I had to make a choice though to forgive her, and I'm still every day I have to make the choice. I have to still pray for her every day. I have to make the choice. It's not easy. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. And I don't do it for her, even though I'm starting to feel sorry for her, because regardless of how much people pretend that they have it all together and that life is so swell and, they look like they got everything. Because to me, my life is, in comparison to my sister, like I don't like it seemed to me like she's doing better than me. She got a husband, he has a good job, she has a good job, they have a big house, they're about to buy another bigger house, they got, they're just living the dream, so to speak. And I don't have a husband. I'm over here as a, have been a single mom. It's been hard, it's been a struggle, it's been like so challenging. I don't have a huge support community. As far as like, I haven't had that with my sons growing up. So I've done a lot on my own, and it's actually rewired some things in me as a woman and made me a lot more masculine in ways, because I've had to be the provider because there is no husband in the home. I've had to carry a lot that I really wasn't designed to carry, because there's no partner to share, the burden with. I've just had to go through extreme hardships and hard seasons alone. Like, yes, I have family, I have friends, I have people, but when everybody got to go back to their own lives and we got to end the phone call and people got to go back to their homes, it's just me. Even with the loss of my dad, like, I'm not dating anyone. I don't have a significant other yet. So again, it's another thing that I'm like, I have to go through alone. And then it's like to go through the devastation of having your sister totally just betray you in a way that you couldn't even imagine. It's like, God, where are you? And with all of that, I still have to choose to forgive. So I said all that to say, and I believe the Lord led me to tell that particular part of my testimony, because there are some people that you may have been betrayed by someone close to you, and you have been holding on to bitterness, unforgiveness, offense, or whatever it is in your heart. And I'm saying to you, and I know you've heard it before, forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about you, because the other person gonna carry on with their life. They're gonna go. My sister, even if I know my sister is not happy with her within herself, nobody can just be so evil, so mean, so malicious and spiteful and all the things that she may have been, and just really truly be a happy person inside, right? It's just a facade. So I'm starting to feel a little sorry for her, because I'm like, girl, you real miserable inside. Like, something like, girl, you not, like, you not cool. Girl, is you cool? No, you're not. And at least I do have joy, and I have people who love me. And I had so many people from my church family show up to the funeral to support me, show up to the repast that I had for my father to support me. And I do have wonderful friends. My friends showed up, they came through clutch. My sons, they're amazing. My youngest son showed a lot of, just, he consoled me a lot, especially in them first weeks. And, I have a lot to be grateful for, and I really am. And sometimes we just got to take our eyes off what's hurting us or the person, and we got to really put our eyes on the Lord and what we do have, and just look at the blessings and the people who do love you. My pastor said something to me the day after my father passed away. He called to check on me, and I told him about some of the things that my sister had done at that point. Hadn't got to the point where she just totally, not alienated me out of everything. But he just said to me, he was like, sometimes we just have to accept the people that God did bring in our lives. It may not be blood. It may not be people who you share same last name or DNA with, but God will bring people in your life to love you, to support you, to walk alongside you, to go through different seasons, to hold you up when you feel like you can't hold your arms up like Moses, like, to be there for you in your lowest moments and not judge you, to cover you. And you have to appreciate that. And yes, it would be great if it was from our family. It will be wonderful, but it may not be. And we can't disregard the people and the blessings that God has brought us just because they're not the people that we think we should get it from. And I just want to say, if you are holding on to an offense, if it happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, if it happened 10 minutes ago, let it go. And I get it. It ain't easy. I'm fresh in this. I just told you my dad. This just happened 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I'm totally not on the other side. I have my moments. I definitely still have my thoughts, but I'm making a choice. I'm making a conscious decision. It ain't a feeling. It is not it is not a desire. It is simply a choice. Like I have to forgive her, and I got to do that for me because I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be full of just mad for no reason, just mean, just miserable, just evil, just malicious. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to always walk around with a mug on my face. I like to be happy and joyful and smile. In order for me to maintain that posture, I have to release the thing that I want to hold on to, because a part of me feels like if I let it go, I let her go, and I feel like she get away with it, if I'm honest. And the truth is, that's something that I really have to surrender to God. Like if vengeance is his, and I trust that he's a good father, and then and I don't even want nothing bad to happen to my sister. So that's the prayer I've been praying. Like, Lord, have mercy. Like, bless her. I don't want you to do anything bad to her. What I wanted was you to intervene and her not be able to do these things to me, but they're done already, and I don't want her to be harmed in any way. But I do know that if God does have to release judgment, I pray that it's merciful upon her, because I feel like she just has some deep wounds and traumas and things that she's never spoke about, that's really going on, and that's her real issue, and it's not really me, and for some reason she's deflecting it on me. And whatever the reason is, if it's just because she just wants to do it, it doesn't matter. I have to choose to release her because I want to move forward, and I want to have peace and joy, and I want to be able to love, and I want to be able to laugh, and I want to be able to have great community and fellowship with people that I love, that love me. And I don't want a experience to change me for the negative. And I also don't want my prayers to be hindered. I need the Lord to answer my prayers. I got the prayers up there. I'm like, God, when can you answer my prayers, Lord? Um, so I did want to be totally honest, get it. Listen, sis, I know it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's day by day. It's sometimes just second by second. It's moment by moment. I have to constantly ask God to give me the strength, because my flesh doesn't want to. I have the strength. But it's a choice, and I just have made a commitment to release it and let it go. And each day, I feel lighter. It doesn't change this what the reality is, but I find more peace as the days go on. And even though things did not go the way that I had hoped or desired, I am able to move forward from it and just know that I would never want to treat anyone like that. And something real horrible must have happened to my sister. And I feel sorry that she, A, never told me, so I could have been there for her, and B, that she's been carrying that thing all by herself all this time. So, like Joseph, what the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good. And so you have to trust that. It ain't going to always look the way you want, it ain't going to happen when you want. But trust that your God will work it together for your good, because he loves you. And, you know, you forgiving someone is not giving them permission. It's not excusing their behavior or the wrong, right? It's saying that I'm going to cast my cares to the Lord because he cares for me. And in doing that, he'll give you rest. That's what the word says. So I hope this video bless you. Like, comment, subscribe, share, share, share. I'm going to try to get on more often. Again, I am in the midst of grieving, and my day to day, I don't never know. You know where I'm going to be emotionally. So give me grace, but I'll do my best. I want to just bring you guys along this journey. I have some things that God is doing in my life. I don't think he's ready for me to release it, but I'll have some good news and updates for you guys soon. God has been moving and is moving, and he's been answering prayers. And so I'm excited, but I just want to take you guys along this journey of grieving, and the reckoning, the justice, the redemption, and seeing God, how he just can take something that looks so awful and so messy and make it beautiful. So that's all I have for now. Just know that your past does not define you, it develops you, and you are worthy.